Hey guys, welcome back. So I want to talk about moving fish today. So this might not pertain to a lot of people. I know most people only have one tank, maybe two, and you don't really move your fish around a whole lot. But in my case, I have, five, four, five, six fish tanks. So fish do get moved around. Um, Usually when I set up a new tank, I'll take some fish. I don't necessarily go out and buy fish for that tank. I'll take fish that I have in other tanks and spread them out. So I have all these baby mollies. I had like 40 of them, and I've been raising them. So I got them in almost every tank I have. There's some babies in all of them but one tank. There's nothing but platies in that tank. But I have them in brackish water in my pufferfish tank because they can be brackish water fish. So I have a bunch of these little babies. So I'm gonna put them in that new tank that I set up there. So I'm gonna take some of the babies out of this, which I've already done. I got like 9 or 10 of them out of there. So I want to talk to you about how I move fish, and it's very similar to when I buy fish and bring them home. I put them in a bucket with some of the water out of the tank they came out of, and then I'll take this bucket over to the new fish tank that they're going in, and I'll drip some water into this bucket out of that new tank to basically acclimate the fish to the new tank. Now, a lot of you might wonder why you would want to do this, because all your water comes from the same place generally. Like for me, all my water comes out the faucet, and I treat it, and then I put it in my tanks. So you might think if you start with the same water that every tank is the same, why couldn't you just take them out of one tank, plop them in another? And the reason behind this is different substrates and different plants and different things you have in different tanks. Like this one has driftwood in it. This one has a big old rock in the back corner. It has a huge plant load. It has a black like sandy gravel. And that new tank, all it has is a few plants, the lava rock, and the dirt. So you could have different, even though the waters came from the same place, you could have different pH levels, different, things in your water from the stuff that's in your tank. Now, if you just take a fish out of one tank and plop them in another tank, and the pHs are, a few points different, it might not kill the fish, but it doesn't help the fish's health. It doesn't make it easier on the fish during the transition. It's already stressful enough that you're sticking a net in there and terrifying them that way and catching them and then plopping them in a new tank. So make it a little bit easier on them. Take a few extra steps, acclimate them to the new tank. It'll help them with the transition, not be as stressed, and more likely survive the move a lot better. So let me get this bucket over here and get it set up and show you how I do that. Alright guys, so I've kind of showed you this in another video, but all I do is I take a little piece of airline, I plop it in the new tank, and then I put it in the bucket, and on the end of the bucket, or on the end of the airline, sorry, is just a little shut-off valve. So I open it up, I get the siphon going, and then I close it down to where it's just kind of dripping. I might make it a little bit slower than that, but you get the idea. So I'll let this run for a while and probably double the amount of water that's in this bucket. And at that point, the fish should be a lot more acclimated to the new tank's water, and it'll make the transition, like I said, a lot easier for them. So that's how I transfer fish. Some people might think it's a little excessive. Why wouldn't you just plop the fish in the new tank? But like I said, you could have different pH levels, different chemicals because of the things that are in the other tank compared to the tank they came out of. So a lot of people don't think about that. The lava rock in this tank could be making the pH lower or higher, or the dirt could be having a huge effect on the pH. And different chemicals in the water, you never know. So unless you're going to sit here and test for all of it, which I'm not going to do, I'd rather just do this, be safe, and just acclimate them to the new tank than spend 15-20 minutes testing for all this different stuff. So that's how I do it. Hope y'all enjoyed this one. Everything's looking good on this tank. I threw in 1 or 2 more plants in here, so we'll see how the dirt goes. Haven't had any issues with it so far. So that plant came out of my brackish water, my brackish tank. It's kind of yellow, has some yellow tips on it. So I think that'll be a good experiment as far as if the dirt helps. How fast this plant can come back would be a good indicator of if the dirt is helping or not. So hope y'all enjoyed this one, and if you get a chance, subscribe. I got a bunch of other videos, check them out. If you have any questions, comments, or anything you'd like to see, let me know, and I'll try to answer them the best I can. So thank you for watching, and see you on the next one.